Welcome to Enviro Close-Up. I'm Carl Grossman. We're at the annual Solar Fest in Vermont, and with us is Michael Phillips. He's the co-author of The Village Herbalist, and he's also the author of The Apple Grower. Let's talk first, Michael, about herbs and food is medicine, medicine is food.
This is a concept that goes back to the Greek times. I think Hippocrates might have been the first to say that. But the whole concept that eating good food that comes from a healthy, nutritious soil is what's going to keep our bodies in good health is really the core basis of medicine. And in the last 100 years, as we've gotten into allopathic doctoring and thinking of the pills that we take and the surgery that we undertake as medicine, we've kind of lost that recognition that it really begins by starting right and staying right. And so a lot less degenerative, chronic diseases come into your life when you recognize that that's a big key part. And that's where the whole organic food movement has come about and has come into being, because people are seeing, I think like for me as an apple grower, the first issue was I don't want these residues not only on my food, but I also don't want them in my environment when I'm out there working with the apples. So I want to find a safer way to grow this food. Well, that's not actually even the heart and soul of an organic product. The real thing is that by being in a healthy soil, having that right balance of nutrients, having microorganisms creating the health that goes into the food, that goes into our bodies, or maybe into the cow or the poultry that we eat if we're eating meat, it all ties together, and it's all so critical, and it has to happen in balance. It isn't like we can come in after the fact and fortify food and put in a vitamin. It's not nature's balance. So real food begins with real healthy soil.
You and Nancy put together the book, The Village Herbalist, and it's sort of an encyclopedic book about, herbs as medicine, as food. And in broad strokes, can you talk about what's in the book?
Well, The Village Herbalist was, I'm the one who has this writing tendency. So when I first told Nancy, let's write a book together, she said, no, I don't want to be a writer. I'm not interested. And so I went ahead and arranged that we had a contract with Chelsea Green. And Nancy kind of went in kicking and screaming, but also excited about it because the energy builds. And what we had done was conceive a book that was going to be different than the other herb books out there on the shelf. And basically, we wanted to let people know the path of how one becomes an herbalist, how one finds these earth connections to apply to their lives. And so we both outlined the education, we outlined what kind of thought process goes into herbalism, and this is very much a earth-based, holistic approach to health. And as we work with each plant, we learn the qualities of that plant, and we're able to work with other people with that plant. But it's very experiential. We have to go through a process, and it's over a lifetime of learning. And we explored the different avenues that an herbalist can serve their community, whether it's consulting. My wife Nancy sees a few people each week who come in for a couple hours of talking about what they're going through, and she gives them suggestions of things that might help them. Whether it's making medicine, we make echinacea tincture is one thing that comes to mind, which quite a few people in our community use to boost their immunity when they're dealing with the flus and the colds of the winter season. Teaching is a big part of what we like to do. Nancy's a wonderful herb teacher, so we have workshops on our farm and get out to conferences to teach. Then finally, there's just growing herbs, and that's where I think my passion is really tied into what my wife likes to do. We grow about 40 different herbs that we dry in a solar tunnel, and we've learned the nuances of each plant, when it has the optimum medicine value, how to dry it so it holds that value. And what's wonderful for me is living so far out off the highway, so to speak, I have a product that keeps for 1 or 2 years, and I can mail it. It's very light to different herbalists throughout New England and the Mid-Atlantic who've gotten to know us for our quality and that the plants we offer hold the promise that we've said they would.
How can people who perhaps don't live in northern New Hampshire, they don't live in a rural setting and have the ability to do what your wife and you have done, manage this way of living? Or can they?
Well, my feelings are, if you can plant a peppermint plant in a container on your patio, you've begun that process of connecting with the plant, with the soil, and understanding a little bit about life on Earth. Of course, connecting with an organic farmer, whether it's like the green markets in New York City, can be very helpful. Of course, getting back to the land is the ideal way. I don't want to get everyone in the city moving up to northern New Hampshire or the country, and I think the black flies will keep it that way. But on the other hand, we need to recognize the need to make that connection in our lives. And I can't answer individually how people are going to do that. I know they can find some good sources of food. There are some community-supported agriculture projects in the cities. But it's the direct connection is where the real power and magic lies, with herbs and the soil and nature. So it's hard to skip that step. Doesn't mean you have to live out there in the country, but you got to make some of that connection with the green magic somewhere.
It helps. Now the books, lift the books up and to show everybody, this is the Apple Grower, and it's put out by Chelsea Green, and it's a publishing house based in Vermont. And the second book, The Village Herbalist, is also published by Chelsea Green. Pretty marvelous publishing.
I'm real honored to be a part of who they are, because they're doing all these things on sustainable living. And they do books that have a lot of content and depth. And so whether it's straw bale house building or master gardening techniques with building soils organically, Chelsea Green has the best books out there. So it's an honor to be a part of their house.
For people to get copies of both books, obviously they can order either of these books through Chelsea Green. You have a website too?
Well, you can order it through any independent bookstore. You can find it on Amazon.com, or if people want to connect directly with us, it would be www.herbsandapples.com.
www.herbsandapples, one big long word.
One big word.
.com. Thank you, Michael, and thank you for watching. And for more information on Enviro video programs, just check out our website at www.envirovideo.com.